Hello. I'm waiting to see if the stream started. Okay, it did. The script I was running just got done, so I decided to stream today as well because I'll probably spend a lot of time doing. I was waiting for the script to finish so I can continue to work on the stuff that I'm working off stream. So I'll probably spend a long time without streaming after today because the script got the script was finished. So and I worked a little bit on the poker tool, but not a lot. You wanna put music as well here. I forgot to change the. I use true headphones, so I just forgot to change the headphone. And today I'm gonna continue to. I also found this thing here, which was one script. I remember talking to a guy on the Discord server when I was gonna do something like this a long time ago. And then I think I shared this with him or he shared with me. And it was pretty much from one of the people from Pile server. I think I contacted them at the time and then they sent me this, which is a script to connect with Pile server 1, but I don't think that's gonna be necessary because they have the example now for. I think probably the reason why they did the example was actually because of me, but I'm not really sure about that because I think before then they didn't have anything, and then I asked the guy, and then he probably did it. But I don't remember well enough to know for sure. But yeah, this is a script to connect with PileSolver 1, and then they have the example to connect with PileSolver 2, which is the most recent one. So I probably ended up using the 2, but it doesn't hurt to have this one here, because then I can study it and see if there is anything useful. I haven't went through it yet, but when the time comes I'll probably look into it. And then what I was doing here, which I couldn't do yet, but I was thinking about, because here the biggest problem that I have is that the thing reads line by line, and I need to separate, because the way that I was thinking before, in the first time that I did this on stream, where I did the Scully draw thing, let me see, it's probably open here. Yeah, when I did this thing here, I was thinking more of separating things into blocks, into the HTML blocks. It's kind of like HTML, but it's not really HTML because it's just text. Maybe it was saved here. Yeah, these things here. So the whole way that I thought about the logic was about getting this block by block. But the thing is, it obviously goes line by line. So that's the problem I was having, because if I put conditions here for each line, then I can't really get the values when the condition hit, because the values are not on the same line. So I need to have a way to specify when this block started and when it finishes, so that based on that condition I can get the values from the stuff that is inside of this block, because as the round changes, the action and cards change, obviously. So I only want to get, for example, the name of the. This is mainly for getting the position. So in round number 0, then I use this to get the positions of the players at big blind and small blind. Based on the, I will make an if statement here, and then I get the condition. That's what I'm planning to do. But if I'm analyzing line by line, then obviously if I put if line contains round to check if the line is a round, then I can't get the value in the same iteration. I would have to wait for the next iteration. And that was the problem that I was having. The other problem is deciding when to finish and when to start a new hand, which is also a block. And there isn't anything specifically here that says that, because there is session in general, but I don't think I can rely on them to count each hand separately. And the way that I'm thinking about doing this right now is separating the hands, because I think it's going to be better for the analysis later. But I also thought about doing without separating the hands and just collecting the variables and putting them all together and then thinking about this later. And I might do that if it's easier. But I think it would be better, ideally, to separate each hand and then put each hand in something like a vector and then save that vector into a JSON file or something like that, or an H5 file. And then with that information connect with Pio, I think it's going to be a lot easier to do it this way, because the information is going to be structured already into the format that I'm thinking about, which is each hand, and then for each hand, players have specific positions, and then I can get the lines based on that. I think it's better. So the logic that I'm currently thinking about is using these players here as the beginning and end of the hand. So whenever it reaches this point, it starts, I use a flag variable. And whenever it reaches this point, I use the flag variable again to clean the values from the previous one. So when it hits player, it cleans the stack or the variable, the flag, and then it cleans all the values from the previous hand. And then once it reaches this, it makes the flag variable equal to true again to imply that it's a new hand. That's what I'm currently thinking about doing. And the reason why I didn't do match here is because I wasn't sure if match works for strings lies. So for example, let's say that the line is something like this. Get, I don't know, pancake, soup. Then if the line is gonna be this, and I don't know if I can do match line and then put get here and then do something, because I think that the match is only gonna match for the whole line, and that's the problem. So in this case, even though the get exists on the line, then I can use it like this. Then maybe I thought about also doing line.contains, and maybe that works, but yeah, I'm not sure. Because obviously using a match it would be better, I think, visually. And it's a lot cleaner than to do a bunch of if else conditions. So I might end up doing like this if it works, but I'm not really sure if it's gonna work or not. Maybe this one works actually. And then you put the code here for whatever is gonna happen. But I think I'm gonna try this way first, and then if it works, everything that I'm trying to do, then I'll think about switching for match. And then what I did here, I took a note to clean the values. I was gonna use a Boolean variable actually, but now that I think about it, now that I read this comment, I remember that I actually thought that the Boolean variable is not necessary, because all I have to do is just clean the values from the previous hands, and then it really doesn't matter later, because I can put conditions to check if the values exist or not, and then put the logic based on that. So the thing that I did here as well with the round numbers, as I was explaining before, is that I put a condition for the round here, and then I put another variable in the same logic, using this as round flag variable, and I call this round scope. And then what I pretty much do, actually before I explain this, what I actually did here before, I was putting the logic inside of the function, and then inside of this else if conditions, and then I realized that I was gonna use the same logic over and over again, so I decided to create a separate function for that. And this function pretty much takes the text, which is gonna be the line, and the pattern that I'm looking for in the line. In this case, it's gonna be this. I'm gonna try to extract these variables here. I didn't test this, so I don't know if it works or not, but the goal is to extract the variables from each pattern which is gonna be each line. So for example, action or round, or depending on what information I want to extract. Then I searched up how to do a regex for getting the flag variables. And then also another problem that I ran into is this using double quotes inside of the regex, because Rust doesn't allow you to do this. So you have to use this, which I also didn't test, but I think it was gonna work. To use this, I don't know what's the name of this, the hashtag. Choose the hashtag, and if you do it like this, then you can use double quotes inside to match with the regex. And what this regex pretty much does is gets the value here. It also gets the double quotes, which I was thinking about trying to remove, but then I thought about it and I thought that is not that necessary. In case I want the numbers, I can just convert from string to float. There's probably a function in Rust that allows you to do that, so it's not really that big of a deal to get the value with the double quotes. All the values as strings, so I left it like this, And then the other regex that I'm using here is based on the pattern. So if the line that I'm passing is a name, contains the, for example, if the line that I'm passing contains players, then I want to pass the pattern as name, because then I want to get the name of the players, depending on what I want to do, obviously. So I put the else if conditions outside here, which work like the scope thing that I was explaining. And then based on this, I pass the line for this function, and then I pass the pattern, which is gonna be extract the value that I want to extract. And then with that, I'm gonna know, I'm gonna get both the name of the variable, which comes from the pattern, and the value that is associated with. And then I return I get the pattern first. I create the regex based on that, because each one of them is different. And I was also searching for putting a variable inside of regex, but I thought that I didn't like it that much. I think you can make it work, but I didn't like it. I think doing like this, even though it might be worse from a performance perspective, is a lot easier to read and understand what's going on. So I went with this approach here, which I think is better. And what this regex does is pretty much takes the whole thing here from name until the end, or from chips until the end. And then I use this regex on the text to match the... So I'm pretty much taking only this value out of the whole line, using this on this line here. That's what I'm doing. And then with this value, then I use the other regex, which is gonna capture only the value. And this is a way that you do it to get this string from the match. As far as I saw from a video, it might be wrong, but we'll see. And then I return the value. So what pretty much all of this does is returns the values here for the pattern that I'm looking for. And then based on that, on this round here, my idea is first I get the number of the round by calling the function and passing the pattern, and I associate this with round number, and then I put the round number into the round scope, which is outside of the loop. And then with the round scope, I'm gonna put the logic for the other functions. That's the plan. So that way, the first is gonna hit, it's gonna be 0, obviously. Then I can put inside of this action here, if round scope equals 0, then I capture the positions like that, and then so on. Or if round is greater than 0, or you get the point. And then because once it gets to the other round, it's gonna automatically call the function again and replace the value. Then it kind of works like a scope, and I don't need to make it empty anywhere, I think. To reset the value anywhere, because every time that it hits, it resets the value anyway. So I think I still didn't test after I fixed the things that it was complaining, which was the lifetime variables here that I didn't put, and apparently you need to put them. I don't really understand really well why. I understand why you need to use lifetime variables, but I don't understand in this specific case why. It has to be because the value of one variable may outlast the other one, but I don't understand how that happens in this code, but whatever. So let me think about what I need to do here. So after the round scope, I think the next thing that I'm gonna do is work on the action here, the pattern, action pattern, because the action is gonna be the thing that I think is very tricky. And I also need to think about how I'm gonna initialize each thing. So the idea, I think, is to put to get the first positions based on the action number here after the round. So put an if condition for the round scope, and then if it's 0, then I call the function with action, pass the pattern of number, and then, or maybe I pass the sum. Yeah, the sum is probably more reliable for this one specifically, but for the other ones I'm gonna have to use the action numbers to keep track of the sequence of actions. Yeah, and then I get the sum, and I get the name of the player and the name of the position, and then I initialize player, I think. Yeah, I need the bool if it's the hero. Bool if it's hero, and then action, which is gonna be the number. Oh, actually, it's gonna be the vector with all the actions of the player. I guess I'm gonna pass 0 if there are no actions. I think it's better because then all the players have the same size of vector at the end. So that's probably a good idea. And then I initialize the position based on the logic for the sum and the action. So big blind, small blind. And then the tricky part is gonna be on the round number 1, because I need to make sure I get the correct order of actions to determine which position is each player. I think that's gonna be the most difficult. Also, another thing that I'm thinking about here is how I'm gonna make the hand here, or if it's necessary to put this here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to create another struct, I think, called hand. I should save each one, because after each one I'm gonna delete the player, the information for the player, and then the round and action. Oh, I can actually initialize the rounds inside the round as well. So initialize each round here. And then each action has... so first I initialize the round, then the action, then the player. That was what I was thinking about before. But I think I'm gonna remove this hand. The hand depends on how I'm gonna wanna connect everything. And I think it's better if I remove the hands. Yeah, but not sure. The problem, what I'm thinking now is if I remove this and I put hand, a struct called hand outside, then it's a weaker link, because there is a chance that for whatever reason I pass the players in the wrong way, and then because the hand's not linked to the player, I can mess everything up. But then if I create the connection between hand and player, then the problem is that I have to initialize the hand as I initialize the player, I think. Or right after I initialize the player, depending on which connection it is. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, I can just do the hand, and then because each player is gonna be unique, then it doesn't matter. It's also a link, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, but hand is not gonna have lifetime A, I think. That's gonna be, or maybe it will actually, because it has, yeah, it's probably lifetime A actually, because it has to last as long as the player lasts. And then I probably can remove this from here. And yeah, then probably what I have to do is just create 5 different players. And then that's how I associate each hand, because the information of the player already has the actions position and whether or not it's the hero, and the action has the information for the values. So I think that works out actually. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do it like this. Now I'm not sure if I should, how I should put the lifetime here. But I think I'm gonna try like this. The compiler is probably gonna complain, but whatever. 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. Yeah, that way at the end of the hand, when I reach this condition here, when I reach this condition, I create the hand with the players that I created through the rounds, and then I make all the values, reinitialize all the values because they're already cached into the hand. Yeah, but then, well, I probably have to create the hand and then append the hand to a vector or something like that, so I don't lose it. Yeah, the tricky thing is the lifetime, because I'm not sure. Because the hand is supposed to last on the vector, but I'm not sure. It makes sense for me. My logic right now is that they both live the same lifetime, because the hand is made out of the players. So if the hand lives in the vector, the players have to live on the vector as well until the end of the program. I think the easiest thing to do would be to use the static. If you use static on the lifetime, it makes it so that the variable lasts for the entire duration of the program, but is not recommended because then it slows down performance, I think, because it works like a global variable, from what I know right now. So let me think. I think it's probably better to test and see what happens. I always have a little bit of resistance before testing, because I know most of the time something is gonna break and then I have to figure out. And sometimes it's kind of annoying if you don't know the mistake, it can be very hard, so. Hopefully everything works out though, so I can continue to do the things. Okay, so looks like it is correct, but I have to add here as well. Oh, also I probably should bring PyCharm as well, since I haven't been doing that much. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, this was the stack that I was gonna use, which is just vector and then push and pop based on the same way as a flag variable, but I think probably don't need this, so I'm just gonna erase. Remove the semicolon. It's funny because the compiler told me to put the column there before. That's why I put it. Maybe I should put a comma. This is the thing that I wasn't sure about as well, which is how exactly where I'm returning this if the match, because I had return match I think outside of here, but then I got some weird mistake as well. I had return value here, but then I erased that. Oh, because it's saying outside, it's outside of the scope. It was saying that it was outside of the scope, which makes sense because I'm getting the value here. So if it doesn't match, then you don't have a value. But then I was thinking about how can I check to see if the value. Maybe I should return a ternary operator. And also this none condition, I'm not sure if it's gonna return a empty string or if it returns anything from the function if I don't specify return this. Or maybe I'm just gonna try it, obviously. Let me run and see. I don't understand why this is a problem if I'm gonna change later. But maybe I'm not changing anywhere. That's why. But I definitely need to keep that like this, I think. Yeah, I was trying to think about why I created this count here. It's probably something to do with the rounds. And the thing that I'm gonna have to think about as well is the hand thing. Or how I'm gonna make it so I create a different hand each time. Different hand object and not the same one, so I don't erase the previous. But I guess if I initialize inside of here, it's gonna automatically create a new one. And I can just append to the vector and then it's gonna create multiple different ones, probably. In the same way when you're looping on Python, I think. If you declare a variable inside of the loop and then you append that, then it doesn't matter that it's gonna be reinitialized each time. Yeah, these mistakes I think are gonna be kind of difficult. I think I'm gonna put the no code, allow that code here. See if these warnings go away of things not being used. It's kind of annoying. So I think you can't match. Oh, I need to put the default case. Forgot about this. So I think it's telling me to do it like this. Yeah, that's the thing here. I need to figure out how to make it so that maybe I can return either one of them. It doesn't matter because I know what I'm doing, obviously, so I'm only gonna pass values that I'm actually gonna use. But it would be better if I threw an exception here, instead of doing like this. And I do think that I need to return somewhere the value, because the match is only gonna associate, I think, whatever value here. Or, yeah, I don't understand really well how it works. Yeah, here, so it's gonna run the code, whatever I put here, but... So maybe, yeah, let me write return and then see what happens. And then here, you just put return. And did I put... Because here I have some and none, I don't think I need to put the default case, because none handles the default. But I'm not really sure. Okay, what else? Yeah, this one is gonna be difficult because I don't understand what it means. Cannot return value referencing local variable value. So how do I deal with this? I guess I understand what he's saying, but I don't know how to go about fixing it. Maybe I don't need the return actually. I think what he's saying is that this value is from this function, but I'm borrowing it, so I can't return like this. I'm returning the borrowed value. Let me do like this instead, if it works. Because the problem in the video I watched, that's the way that you capture whatever the regex, that's how you turn that into a string slice, whatever the regex captures from the text. So here, if I return just the values, probably gonna return a regex object instead of a string slice, I think. Returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. So probably need to return it without referencing. Just return the value itself. Cannot return variable. Value referencing local variable path. No, because it's gonna be garbage collected, I think. So what I'm doing is I'm pointing this to path, but after the function ends the execution, then the path is gonna be discarded from memory, and then the value is gonna be pointed to something that doesn't exist. I think that's the problem. So what I need to think about is how to return the value without being linked to this thing here. So you need to understand what exactly is gonna be the value. Yeah, struct regex captures. It was something with get 0, something like that. Maybe we should just watch videos, probably gonna be easier. Because this kind of stuff, usually there are videos about it. Just more complex stuff than there are no videos. I'm gonna close this. And this is the site that I used. Actually, I should have showed the site before. It's a lot easier to explain. So pretty much these regex is capturing the value here. And then if you put name, obviously captures everything. And if you remove, then you catch only the value. I think it was this video that I watched. Oh, brilliant.
How's it going, guys?
I'm back.
My name is Dom, and today I want to talk about using regular expressions in the Rust programming language. So, firstly, you need to include the regex dependency. So, inside
I
your
just forgot to change the volume.
cargo.toml file, go down here and just type out regex equals 0.2. You can save that one, and back in the main.rs file, up the top here, just type out extern. This one right here. Cargo run, hit enter, and you should see the compiled regex up here, and we see we get found match true, so it works. Making this one character short, we can save this one, and we'll just try again. We should see false this time around. And we do. Perfect. Now, what if we want to actually get the matched text? We can do this using a captcha. It's quite easy with captchas, so what we're going to do is instead wrap this right here inside two brackets. So putting down bool, and then one of these on the other side. So we're going to wrap it in an opening brace and a closing brace. This is a captcha. So we're going to
The
match.
other thing that I didn't talk about is that memory too. The memory that I bought arrived here. It's 2 terabytes. And I think maybe tomorrow or 2 days from now I'm gonna install that. And then I'm probably gonna see or study how to build my own archive node on Ethereum. Once I install the memory, extra memory.
For this captcha, and then get the text of that captcha, and just print it out to the screen. We'll keep this actually as 4 letters for now. We're going to make this fail, just for now. So we'll get rid of this one, and instead use a match operator. We're going to say this, we're going to say match re.captures. This method will return a capture, it'll return an option. This option will be either some or none. So it's going to find a match, or it's not going to find a match. So we're going to pass in text right inside here. Now, if it finds a match, we're going to do this. We're going to get the caps variable here, so the value of that capture, and we're going to just simply print line found match. Now for this, it's a bit complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to say caps.get at index 0 .unwrap .as string.
Yeah, that's the thing. Get 0 unwrap as string. Let me see if it runs now. So maybe, because it's the same thing, maybe I can use clone. Maybe just dot clone. Yeah. Let's see if this works. I wonder if I can use the asterisk there, or whatever that name is, to dereference the reference and assign it to a variable, another variable.
This next part is called dereferencing and the dot operator, and it leads into a trait called deref, which is really interesting. But first, just about this dot operator. You might have noticed this yourself. The dot operator is used when you call a method. So we've seen that all the time. But let's look at references for a second to see what we're talking about. So we know how references work. We have my number is 9, and then we have reference equals a reference to my number. And then if we say okay, are these the same? Rest is going to say, it's not even going to entertain the thought because they're not even the same type. So Rest is going to say, I'm not even going to try to compare these. You can compare apples with oranges. And so there you go. This is an integer, and this is a reference integer to an integer. This owns its data. This is just pointing at data. It's totally different, and I'm not going to let you do that. So that is that's normal. We know how that works. But what's interesting is that when you use the dot operator, then Rust will dereference automatically for you, and it'll do it as much as it needs to make the method work. And here's an example of how this works. And it's a convenience that you do, because otherwise if you have my item and you're calling some method, and you have to think about some method is maybe it's a reference or something, and then we're going to is equal to 9, then how are you going to are you going to dereference here, are you going to dereference here, and you could have like a whole bunch of method calls, some other method, and so that is why and if you had to do that, then the language would be a nightmare probably, and so Rust will not make you have to do that. So let's make an item. So item, we'll just make this super normal item with number 8 inside it, and then we're going to have a reference number equals, there's going to be a reference to item.number. So this is going to be a reference to U8, and we can show that by giving Rust a fake method, and it's going to say this is a reference to U8. So we know what type that is. And then if we try to compare it again, it's not going to work. So we'll do this reference number equals 8, and once again, it's going to say I can't do that. So there you go. No surprise yet. Now, of course, we would have to dereference and do that manually. So there you go. True. Now let's give item a method. So we can give it something that we actually use the dot operator with. So we will say info item, and we're going to say function compare number, and this will take a reference to self, and then it'll take some other number, and this will be in U8 because it has to be U8 to compare it. And then we're going to say are something and something equal, and then it's going to give a true or false, and then we'll have self dot number. Let's see, other number, and then we will have self dot number equals other number, like that. There we go. And you'll notice here that we have we're actually bringing in a reference to self. And we don't have to do this. We don't have to do dereference self. It's actually going to take care of that for us. And so we'll have let's see, we made our item here, reference number. Let's call it reference. Call it reference item. So
Let me just try the thing that I'm thinking about, which is the easy way to do this. Just put this operator here and see if it works. That doesn't work. Now if I do it like this, I think it's probably not gonna work, but whatever. Yeah. What if I do it outside of here? Probably not gonna work here as well. So I'm gonna try it here. Maybe I should open VS Code to do this, because PyCharm doesn't have the stuff. Obviously, I'm using the wrong ID for this. So. So it's telling me to do this, which makes sense. Still the same thing. What if I did... It's kind of annoying that it doesn't create the true at the same time. And it's gonna complain about the same thing. And if I do this, it's also not gonna work. So maybe the easy way is just to return string instead of returning string slice. Trying to think. If there are any other easy ways to do this. See if this works first. And it just complicates things too much. I think it's better to figure out a way to return a string slice instead of the other way around. So let me think about how I can do this. But I think the way that I'm thinking about this is correct, which is this points to this reference here, and then the reference is removed once the function is finished. So this loses the pointer. So I need to find a way to dereference this, but borrow at the same time, but reference again. Because it needs to be a string slice and not a string. But then if I try to dereference, it's gonna give me the same thing there. So what can I do here? What can I do? The other option is return the regex object instead, and then the reference outside. I guess that's probably gonna work, but it's not good.
We're going to reference the whole item like that, and then let's also reference that. So equals reference item. So this is going to be a reference to an item, and this is going to be a reference to a reference of an item. So that's its type, and we can see that by reference item 2 by giving it some garbage method, and it's going to say, there you go. So you can say it's clearly a reference to an item. And so now we'll take the original item and say compare number 8. And then we're also going to take reference item, the same thing, compare number 8, and reference item 2 dot compare number 8. So we're comparing an item to.
What if I try to dereference here instead? I also think this is not gonna work, but maybe it gives me some clues. Same thing. I'm also thinking about it's probably good to just search for the mistake that I'm getting.
To an 8, and then all these references to an 8. And so now when we do that, it actually works. And so you can see that the dot operator, it's actually it's a method for item, but it sees that it needs to compare to a U8, and whenever you call the dot operator, if it can, it's going to deref as many times as it needs to make it work. So you can do that. You can have 12 references in there, and it'll still work. And you can see that it is actually doing something, because if we try to totally dereference it, then it's going to say, hey, you can't dereference something that is like it's not even a reference. So what are you doing? But you can put all these references in there, and it'll still do it. You can put them in there. And so you can see there's no limit. It's going to keep on doing what it can to make it work. And this is also done statically during the compilation, so there's no runtime cost. It'll just figure it out and then realize that you are that you need to compare U8 to a U8, and it'll make it happen. And that is thanks to the dot operator. And you can see some people have written about this here in the Rustonomicon. The dot operator will perform a lot of magic to convert types. It will perform auto referencing, auto dereferencing, and coercion until types match. And by the way, that's called deref coercion, and coercion means make you do it. So make it deref. That is what coercion means. Here's another site that's talking about the magic of the dot operator. And so yeah, this is an interesting thing to notice. And in the next video, we're going to look at deref with a box and implementing deref for.
I should probably put Rust in the title as well, now that I think about it. The title of the stream. How do I do that? There we go.
Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to use regex to perform some pattern matching in Rust. So let's start by creating a new project with the cargo command. So cargo new regex example. Let's change directory into this regex example and open this with our editor. Okay, so here there's the usual setup for Rust project. Here we have the TOML file where we're going to add the dependencies, and here we have the main.rs file where we're going to write our code. So let's start by adding a couple of dependencies to our TOML file. Here we have the lazy static dependency, which is some helper functionality that allow us to instantiate new instances of regex structures that usually happen at runtime, but because we want to create some static regex instances, this macro helps us to do that. We're going to see this in a moment, so bear with me. So let's open a terminal and type cargo build so we can download the code for these dependencies and cache this for later. Okay, so let's talk about some context first. So the library we're going to use is this library. Here you have some documentation about how this library works. And we're going to use the RE2 standard for regex. And this is the standard used by the Go programming language. And here you can read about it and you can have more information. This is a very useful website that allows us to test our regex and try to see if we're able to match some strings and extract information from these strings. Okay, so let's start by importing some modules. And also let's start defining some regex and talk a bit about what we're trying to do. Okay, so this is our lazy static macro at work. Here you can have some more, you can read about it in a bit more details. Let's say we are building our backend API and we need to provide some routes for the HTTP URLs. So for example, let's pretend we want to create some work and we have our host and /work route, and then we want to retrieve some existing resources. So we have our /work 123. So we pretend we want to retrieve the resource 123. So our router needs to extract this 123 identifier to be able to retrieve the resource from an hypothetical database in the backend. And let's say, for example, we want to search for existing work, and so we provide query parameters in our URL, and our router needs to be able to extract this ID from the query parameters. And here you can see the regex at work. One tiny detail to keep in mind is that here you can see we are escaping the backslash with another backslash, but this is just because of how the Rust language works. It's not part of the regex. In fact, that's why I pasted here the original regex. So we mentioned this website. So let's say we can go there and test our regex so we can see how this is useful. Okay, so this is the website. On the left panel, you can see that you can choose different flavors for regex, and we know we're using the Golang regex, so the RE2 standard. So here we can paste our regex that is supposed to recognize paths and information, extract information from URL paths. Here on the right side, you can see some explanation of how this regex is built. So let's see if this works. We insert some text here, and as you can see, information like this paths, and extract this identifier from the path. Sorry, two very simple URLs: /work, /work, and in both cases, they should be able to trigger this regex. So here we define a regex with regex new, which is getting back a regex instance that we can later. Okay, so let's see if this works by invoking our program with cargo run. Okay, so we are done with simple URL matches and expression. As you can see now, this is going to fail. Right. The next example is about matching path parameters inside strings and extract information. Okay, so as an input here, we have an array of two strings that represent URL paths, and what we want to do is extract this ID information for later on processing it somewhere in our backend API. So in this for loop, we are first of all asserting that there's a match between each of these strings and the retrieve work regex, and this is the way we define this regex. So the next thing we're going to do is proceed with extracting this information from the path. And the way we do this is a bit convoluted, but let's go through this so we make sure we know what we're doing. So the retrieve work regex, which is an instance of a structure of type regex coming from our dependency, we want to capture the information from the input string. This returns an options, and then we process this with the end then function, and then we provide a closure here. So a closure is something that is familiar to many different programming.
If I put as string here, wonder if that's gonna do anything. Doesn't work.
Languages, you may be familiar with this as a string, and then so let's go ahead and run this. And foo1, bar2, bar3. So this is basically a way of saying, okay, we want to extract.
I don't think this video has what I'm looking for. Whatever. Maybe one thing that I can do is pass another parameter, and then I can reassign value of the parameter. That might be a hacky way to do it. So that way the value is not local, is being passed from outside, so it can return. Yeah, the other thing that I can do is this thing here, change to string and then change the value there. Yeah, but the thing is, if I create a lifetime, not a lifetime, a keyword argument, I think I'm gonna run into the same mistake, which is because the value is only gonna be a reference to the local thing, and I won't be able to dereference because then it returns the same thing. So I think I have to do the string thing. That's probably the only way. Here I would do it like this, but I'm not even sure if this is a string or not. That's the other way around. Easiest is probably just do what he's doing here. Assign this in the beginning. Um, just var value. Var value push. It's probably gonna complain about the lifetime here, but then I could just remove or figure it out. Figure it out. Expected char font string. Huh. So I can't do push. Let me think. How to convert. I think it's true string, I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember really well. I think I'm just gonna try choose string. Then I'll keep searching. Choose string. I keep searching if it doesn't work. Probably not to clear this. What the hell? I think it loads again the stuff that I had in the previous run. Okay, so it looks like it's working now. Nice. The only thing that's there's still mistakes, but this works, I think. Round number, expected string, found struct string. So yeah, now that I changed the thing there, I need to change this one to string. Let's see if it works. Huh, so it doesn't work. Move occurs because value has type string, which does not implement the copy trait. Damn. Maybe if I remove the pointer. It doesn't work. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I think on the bright side, after I fix this, I think the only thing that is gonna be slightly difficult is figuring out the positions. But then after that, it should be relatively easy, I think. And the thing that I'm not sure as well is how the file format's gonna work. I'm gonna use that later as well. Because I don't understand really well how the structs and vec are gonna translate into the file. If it is similar to Python, then it's obviously gonna be a list with a bunch of objects. That's what I'm picturing in my mind. And then I'm gonna open the file in the other one and loop through the file and do the same thing that I'm doing here, but with the objects instead. And that part, once I have that, then I can communicate with Pile with the objects, create the simulations based on the players and the hands. But I might be wrong about that, obviously. So, which might be, and the problem is if I'm wrong about that, then it might make me have to do everything again. To structure things in a different way so that it works when I'm writing to the file. There must be something about this because it seems so trivial that someone else probably ran into this problem before. So there must be something about it. I can't imagine that people never added a string license to a string. So you want to put some music that is more animated or whatever.
It's a hit codex.
trying to find the easiest way that I possibly can. I'll make this complicated. It looks like I might have to redo the whole thing, which is annoying as hell. So I might have to look this up and then think about another method, choose the regex to get the pattern and then get the final result. So I can actually return the value and not the reference to the value. What if I just do this, not value? String. I feel like it's gonna give me the same mistake, that's the problem though. I'm gonna mute this. Then I return new. Because it's gonna say that I'm referencing the thing. Oh, that's a problem. I'm gonna put it like this just so it gets twisted. If I do it like this. It's probably not gonna work, but oh, maybe it's because of this. Interesting. Fuck. So the problem is the regex here. What line is this? Oh, here. Let me check if that's the one that I did here. It doesn't look like. Maybe I forgot to remove it. That's probably what happened. But it's still weird that it gives me a warning there. Now let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot this one. Do again. Oh, fuck. Forgot to change here. Ah, there we go. Nice. Yeah, but the issue now is that at least it's working, which is awesome. But the issue is that I'm getting the wrong thing there. Because it's returning as a string and is also escaping the pattern there. Let me think. Yeah, obviously because I'm making this into a string, so that's the problem. So the regex that I'm actually getting is this one. But because I'm making it equal to a string there, it wraps around the other one. And it also escapes the thing there, which is, I don't know how to return only the, because it's not really a string, it's just a pattern. So I guess it's different. Yeah, but on the bright side, at least it works now. So what I'm thinking about doing now is, well, I have two options. One is trying to figure out how to split the string inside of the function, so that I just get the value. So instead of making this true string, I can maybe split or something like that. Let me think. I just wanna return this string. Yeah, what if I split by this? Wonder if I can do that. Oh, actually, yeah, that's the thing, because I wonder, because if I split, it's probably gonna return a vector, and then I have to join the vector, and then I'm wondering when I should convert to a string. It would be helpful to know what this is actually. Maybe it's more intelligent if I think about a different way to capture the pattern. If I unwrap or something like that here, because that way then it would make everything easier. If I don't have to split this and then join again, so I can get the value.
Let them do it while I'm doing my verse. Fuck it. Then after that, we can do it. You know what up? Huh? DJ record all this. Oh, we say he thuggin', well, that shit ain't adding up. I'ma keep on flexing, cause these niggas ain't man enough. Bitch, I'm never going broke. Shit, my money keep adding up. I'ma keep on.
I think I'm gonna change this music so I don't get. I'm not sure if some of these raps, I think you get blocked. I think raps are more likely to get you blocked than electronic music because of the artist. So yeah. Either way, you get demonetized, but don't really care about that much. And maybe all I have to do is this S string. The problem is I don't know what I should put here. That's the thing.
I'm like Chipos, man. I got this, yeah.
I don't understand how I should use the as string. It's an implementation of the re object. But then how do I match the pattern? That's the thing. I don't get it.
That's enough for me. You got me begging, baby. Looks like I'm on my knees again. Feels like the walls are closing in. Looks like I'm on my knees again. Looks like the tables have turned. Like there's a change in the weather. Feels like my time is returning. Like I'm about to get out of this cage. If you could see me now, I'd probably let you down. But that's enough for me. You got me begging, baby. Looks like I'm on my knees again. Feels like the walls are closing in. Looks like I'm on my knees again.
You go right back. This is kind of annoying, to be honest. Not really that fun to do. This part. Because it's more figuring out the details. I think is I have to find the best way to do it, and then in order to do that, it's a problem because then you have to rewrite and write again in a bunch of different ways. And then it would be useful to have gits. I think this has gits because every time you initialize a Rust project, it initializes the git. But I don't want to use a git repository. I just don't think it's that necessary. And I think I did a git. I initialized a git for the overall project, but then I forgot to put the git ignore, so I'd have to fix that. And I don't want to do that because I just want to focus on building everything. If it was a project that I was taking more seriously, then obviously I would do it with Git, but it's just out of curiosity and to train Rust skills. So maybe I would just say fuck it and then go with this. I think that I wanna do though. I think I'm gonna print this thing here. I wanna see if this value here is this one. Right, that's what I'm gonna do. So well, actually, I have a better idea. Just gonna wrap this inside of this. So I can comment this out. Hopefully it lets me print this. Fuck. Or maybe I can just do this and then I'll print anyway. And then I'll stop printing outside. It's probably the better thing to do. I just wanna know if this is the value that I'm thinking that it is. And then I think I'll try to split that. Split and join so I get only the value. To place on the other string, I think it looks better, and yeah, it's gonna be better because then I don't have to repeat myself in the other methods to get the string of the value. Oh, I forgot to do this. And this allow that code's not working as well. Seems like it doesn't do anything. Because it still generates the warnings. It's slightly annoying. But not that big of a deal. Nice, okay. Yeah, so I guess that the value is actually what I was thinking that it is, but then for some reason when I dereference and I make it equal to string, it changes. Yeah, because I'm supposed to get the round, so it is correct. But here, oh no, this is from the previous execution probably. Because I don't know why these ones are escaped here, but on the other one it seems like a string. In my mind it should just be a string with double, but I guess it makes sense because you're actually passing a string inside of another string. That's probably why it is escaped. Because it has to be, in order to include the characters. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. So the question is, how do I add that to a string without adding the unnecessary thing? Because I just want to have the value. I don't want to convert to a string because convert to an integer, because the other ones might be strings or string slices, the other patterns. Oh, the other thing that I forgot, and then I'm gonna have to do, is also figure out how to extract the hands from the board, from the flop. I was forgetting about that. And I'm also gonna have to create the texture here, which I also forgot, which should be part of the hand as well. Oh, the flop, turn, and river is part of the round. Maybe I should put on the round actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, but probably what I'm gonna have to do is create another struct for the cards, and then yeah, create maybe not a struct but a hash map. Oh, actually, yeah, I'm not sure, no, which way is gonna be better. But I need to have something that represents the 52 cards, and then I need to create something here that it is that object. I think it has to be a hash map actually, now that I think about it. because I need to create it dynamically depending on the value that is gonna be the board and the cards of the players. So essentially I get the value from the string and then I use that value to create the object that represents the hand or the board. And then I place that into the round and the player as well, because each player has a hand. I'll put cards so it doesn't mix up with this one. Or I can just do a string slice actually, it's much easier. Then I'll figure out later how to translate this string slice into the actual hand strength. Maybe I don't need to do that actually, because if I'm gonna communicate with Pio, I can just pass the strings probably, and then Pio is gonna do the work of converting the hands into everything else to run the simulations. Yeah, so I think that's probably gonna be the best way. Just create the string slice and probably add to the player and to the rounds. Because the round, it represents the boards, the cards on the board, and then the player represents the hands of the player. Yeah, but I'll think about that after I figure this other stuff out. So how do I actually do that? Let me think. I think I'm gonna try to split this by... Yeah, the problem is... I guess I can make it like this. And then let's see what happens. If I just do this. Oh, I understand. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. So it's saying that it is deleting the thing after I do the split. Let me search for split. Or maybe I have to add the mute. Maybe that fixes. No. Maybe like this. There we go. Guys, I'll just do this because it's easier. I'm just doing this to see what the thing is gonna be. So it doesn't really matter the way that I do this because I'm gonna delete it anyway. I just wanna see the methods that I have to use in order to split this based on the pattern so that I only get the string and I don't get the double string, the string inside of the string. Let's try it differently. No, it's not supported.
I'm drifting around, watching the birds fly by.
Let's see if this works.
So come out and shake me. I'm caught in the waves, pulling me down.
Oh, I can do string maybe? Or... because not really... yeah, it's gonna be a vector of string slices after it splits, I think. I still get the same. It's a temporary which is freed while still in use. Fuck. And if I erase this, it's not gonna work again. What if I do value instead, obviously? Var value. Yeah, maybe that will work. Fingers crossed. It's actually not that bad, I think. Because even though we get a lot of mistakes, it's really helpful, the messages. Oh, nice. Okay. Awesome. That's exactly what I want, I think. So now, if I put 1 here, let's see if it works. And the thing is that I would need to have a type, so I think I can just do choose string later. No, it doesn't work. Huh. What if I do it here? I think it's gonna work now. So if it works, I'm gonna put choose string, and then it's probably gonna be enough to return only the value instead of the string, instead of returning the double string. Nice. Now, yeah, I think I need to do the choose string, because otherwise it's gonna be a vector and then it's gonna complain. Ah. Doesn't work. Oh no, I forgot to. It's because of the. Actually, sure. Because bar charm cuts the other thing off, so. Let's pray that it works. The only thing that I don't know, that I'm thinking about now, is if it's necessary to do in this one. Because I think whenever the value, I don't get any matches for whatever reason, then it's probably better that I have the double string at the end. So, because I'm not gonna use that value anyway. So in case that happens, which it shouldn't, then I should probably deal with that at the time that I'm gonna actually create the simulations with Pile. So because that would mean that I passed the wrong pattern. That would mean that I passed the wrong pattern, actually. I think this is the only possible way. So for example, when I have the line for players, but then I pass a type or something like that, and the type doesn't exist on that line, so that means that I made a mistake here. And that would give me, it wouldn't get a match, I think, and it would return the empty string, which would actually be true, a string inside of a string. And then if that's the case, then I'm not gonna have the value for the player, or it's gonna be empty string, which would be bad. But then I think I can check later, after I have all the hands and the file with all the hands. I can just create a simple filter for... Yeah, but it shouldn't happen, actually, as long as I'm careful and I check if everything works. It shouldn't happen. I think ideally, actually, instead of making like this, I should throw a panic or something. So maybe I'll do that, actually. It's probably better. Otherwise, I'm just leaving space for fucking it up. I think it's just panic and then exclamation, just like a macro, any macro. I just do panic. And that's probably what I'm gonna do here. That way, if I get the wrong one, it just stops the thing. Probably a lot better. Now here I'm gonna make a comment, shred, and for player. Add, flop,
Gratitude is my destination.
turn, and
My destiny is
river
perfectly
cards.
aligned with this location. I am the map, so I travel back in time. I have everything I want because my imagination
Add
is mine. But mine is not
river
enough
cards.
because I am not my mind. I could see it all, but never get to see I'm truly blind. I could be it all,
Okay, now let me
but
think.
all identity is intertwined. The moon is only bright because it reflects the sun's shine.
So here maybe should just do var value. Yeah, but that's the problem. Because var value is a string. And then the thing is, he's gonna complain again because I'm returning. I'm gonna be returning something else instead of var value at the end. Oh, actually, I might. It's probably possible to do this stuff here at the end. So that way I get the final string and then I change it. Oh, actually, I'm gonna be returning. Let me think. Actually, it's better to do v here and then var value equals should be 1
It's just the
to a
human
string.
race.
Yeah, that probably will
There's
work
nothing left to chase. We
because
cannot
it's still gonna be a string, so it doesn't matter.
for
So
both
I don't need to
medicine
change
and
there.
poisons an acquired taste.
At
So I
least
started taking
that's what I hope.
selfies of somebody else's face.
So then I leave it like this. Yeah, create a vector, split, get the second value, which is the actual value, and turn it to a string. And maybe this choose string here is not necessary. Yeah, but whatever. I think I will leave it like this if it works.
I see you standing at the front of the land, waiting for something I can't make out.
Fuck.
But I wanna talk to you.
Not following this school.
I wanna ask you
Oh yeah.
to come with me tonight.
Oh, but it should be here.
I wanna stay by your side.
Oh, I didn't initialize. Yeah. Use a comma to match expression. I always confuse this as well. I don't think I need to put the comma also. I think now it's gonna work. Usually when it doesn't complain in the beginning, it works.
There's no place I'd rather be. Feel myself There's no place I'd rather
Oh fuck. So what happened now?
You run your fingers through the
Also we panic. Huh. 0. So what's going on here? Oh, I get it. Yeah, because there are rounds that don't have the number. That's why. See, good thing that I made a panic there. Otherwise, I wouldn't think about this. But I guess I have to put it here because I have both this line and this line, and then this one is obviously not gonna have the number, so the pattern doesn't match. So I have to put exactly the thing that I want there. Let's see if it works now. If it does work, then the next thing that I'm gonna do is work on the action here. And the action is gonna be the place where I initialize the players and find a position. Which I think is the next thing that it might be difficult to do because of getting the positions correctly. But then after that, I think it's gonna be relatively easy. It's just a matter of figuring out the pattern, the variables that I need, and in what place do I need them, and then creating the objects as I go through the lines, and then at the end of each hand I make everything, reset everything, and after I append to the vector with their hands, and then once I have everything, then I can just write to the file. And then this part is done. Then I think it's gonna be, the other part is probably gonna be a lot more challenging actually, to actually connect this to the Pile solver, because of the commands from Pile might be very tricky to do it. And then this is taking a long time. So maybe I messed it up. It should print here, so not sure. Maybe it's running, it's not printing anything. Maybe there's no lines that contain rounds, and that's why it's running. Oh, I think I took a picture. I'm gonna open the. Where is this? Open it. It should be correct. So, oh, there is no rounds. That's why. So it is running. Oh, we ran through the whole thing probably. So I have to put it like this. Yeah, but now, okay, I think it works because the other one starts with the backs, the slash there. Yeah. So let me see. Okay, but I think it was working. Hopefully the output's correct, but I think it is. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. So let me think. I think I'm gonna go grab something to eat before I continue. Okay, nice. Okay, so I'm getting exactly what I wanted. So now I think I'm gonna work on this one. Actually, it should be here. Yeah, so the players are only useful to mark the start and finish of the hand. And now it becomes hard because I'm gonna make the if round equals 0, but now I have to think about the round 1, how I'm gonna get the positions for the players. Because the difficult thing about this is that, for example, in this example here, you have 4 players only. The game that I play is 6 max, so usually you have 6 people. But obviously you're gonna have situations like this where you have only 4 people. And then because of that it changes the positions of each player. So I have to think about how can I implement a logic that is robust and is gonna work on every situation to find the correct position of each player. And the thing that I was thinking about in the first time that I did this, that I thought about this, if I remember correctly, is to use the actions sequentially here from the round 0 to mark the positions, because the first player to act on the round 1 is gonna be the under the gun player, and I already have the small blind and big blind from round 0. But then the question is, how do I make it so that I have the other ones? Because in this situation I will have under the gun, then middle position, then cut off and button. Or maybe not actually. Yeah, in this case here, the big blind is number 5. But if there were 6 players, then it would be middle position or cut off here. Actually, cut off. But in this case, it's the big blind because there are only 4 players. But then the thing is, or maybe I can initialize the number of players. That would be one idea. So I start counting the numbers from once it gets to this point. I create another variable like counter, player counter, and I increase. Yeah, but then how would I do it? Oh, I can have another pattern for getting the player line. Yeah, maybe I don't even need to do I just increase the counter each time there's a player line. Yeah, that's probably the best way actually, now that I think about it. Because that way I'm gonna know how many players there are, and then I can do the action sequentially. So the first 2 are obviously 1 and 2, and then I subtract that from the total count of players, and then I get the positions of the other ones. But then I have to think about how I'm gonna name each one, because it's just a semantics thing, but it still matters, I think, at the end. Because when you have 6 players, obviously the button is in a different, even though the button is the same, is a different position. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, does the middle position becomes the button, or do I make it so that it's always middle position depending on the count? That's what I'm trying to think about here. In this situation I can make it as if there is no button or cutoff, or if there make it so that there aren't early position or middle position. And the positions are big blind, small blind. It starts from the big blind, and big blind, under the gun or early position, middle position, cutoff, button, and then small blind. So I don't know how they classify when there aren't 6 players. What is the ones that... I'm pretty sure the small blind and big blind are always the same. And then I think button is also always the same, but early position, middle position, cutoff, I'm not really sure which ones change if you don't have 6 players. I have to think about oh sure, which position. Yeah, but this is what I'm thinking about there. On the right here. Oh, I just realized that I'm gonna have to think about a way that I capture only this pattern or not. Oh, but this is... It works because this one is a singular and the other one is plural, so... Yeah, but it's gonna contain, that's the thing. Because it's... I can make a exact match, but then, yeah, it doesn't work. Let me think. I can just make players seats. Probably. Make this the pattern. Go right back. Back. Yeah, I'm gonna write this down already. Oh, maybe that's why I created this count here and I just forgot. That's probably because of that. Okay, so this is gonna be the amount of players. Now let me think. I'm gonna try to focus on one thing at a time so I don't get overwhelmed with stuff. Yeah, this is what I was gonna search. I guess it's not that big of a deal because anyway the solver only works for... There are more advanced solvers that allow you to put 3 players, but they are not accurate because multiplayer games are not solved because you can have multiple Nash equilibriums, no, multiple different Nash equilibriums, and it's hard to prove which one is the better one. So it's a bigger problem that I think is still not solved. So the way you solve poker is by the way that they do it with the solvers. You simplify the game and you assume that you're only playing. There's only two players, and then you can solve for pre-flop, but it's also not that accurate because of the thing that I talked about, where when you have multiple different players, it becomes a much harder problem. So the way that you usually do is you have an approximation of a range that you play pre-flop, which is just an estimate of what is considered to be good based on the current solvers. And then after that you assume that there's only two players playing with those two ranges. And so it doesn't really matter that much the way that I'm calling the positions, I think. The only thing that matters is that I keep a standard. If I decide to remove early position and middle position when there are less players, I need to keep that in mind, so when I'm creating the simulations I remember this. But now that I actually think about it, it might not even be necessary to make the positions, now that I'm just realizing that. Oh, actually, the benefit of the position is just for... Yeah, it is beneficial, but it's not for the simulation. The benefit is so that later on, once I have everything done, what I'm trying to do is to extract the percentages. That's the main goal. So you're obviously gonna be better if I have the position, because I'm gonna know which hands I'm opening on each position, and also the percentages post-flop that I'm playing, and the percentages that the solver recommends to play. So it is important, I think. And depending on the way I classify, it's gonna change the way that I think about the information later as well. So it is kind of important. Because if I classify cutoff as in the same way that I would button, for example, when there's one player less, then it's gonna skew the probabilities for each position. But I guess the pre-flop ranges are going to be the same, because... Not the same, but they're going to be independent of position, because I'm getting directly from the data, the hands that I played, and I'm not going to use a chart. Yeah, but it is going to change the range, though, depending on which way I choose to classify. But I don't think it's gonna be that much that it makes that big of a deal. And that's the thing, it's hard to find the information. Oh, maybe what I can do is actually open my hand history on the Holy Manager tree, and try to see if I can figure it out. I think I'm gonna open up Bulldog and download the hands as well that I play. I'm opening Bulldog to get the... I already have the latest hands, but I wanna... Because I wanna download, because otherwise I'm gonna forget. Download the most recent ones. Then I'm gonna open Holy Manager 3 and see if I can... Okay, it's not opening, so whatever. I'll do that later. Oh no, it did open. And history. Downloads. Okay. Oh, actually, maybe it's better to wait because I don't know if it's gonna ask me for password or something like that. I think I'm gonna count it the easiest way, actually. It's probably better. Which would be to start from big blind and then do the rotation one by one, starting from under the gun. A good thing that I blocked because it is showing, it is asking for a password. I don't know, I don't know if I remember the password. Let me think. Yeah. I don't remember the password, so I'll do this later. Actually, let's start from this. I'm passing everything, making a backup of everything before I change the memory, in case something goes wrong. Maybe it's actually better to skip the players. So remove from big blind, remove early position and middle position. Because I feel like if there are less players, you're gonna play more aggressively anyway. So I think it makes more sense to categorize like that. But the issue with that is that it makes it a lot harder to create the logic because how I'm gonna do that? If there's 6 players, then obviously it's gonna be one by one, but oh, actually the first thing that I'm gonna do is create the round 0 because the round 0 is separate from, so I should probably do that first. I can just put this statement. Or maybe I have to wrap inside of the parentheses. Yeah, then I have to call the function, I think. And then I'm gonna pass action. Now let me think, what information do I need there? I'm gonna create the player and the action and the strings. And now that I'm thinking about how I'm gonna call this. Because it's not really pre-flop, it's before the pre-flop. Maybe I'll call blinds. It doesn't really matter for the analysis at the end because it starts from pre-flop, so. Yeah, so the first thing that I need is the round. Round and the action. Stay. Yeah, so I'm gonna need the value round ID. Value round ID. I don't know what you call the variable names because I already used most of the stuff that makes sense. I guess I just do it like this. Value, what is gonna be the value? The value is the sum. So pass and values line. Fuck. Sum. Let me see if it's a string slice as well. I think it's you're 30 sure. So I need to search. Oh, converts. Sure. And let's see right there. It's gonna be a number. Let me think. Yeah, so now I'm gonna make another if else statement to see who is the big blind, who is the small blind. But let me think. So this would go here, and it is a string, I think. No, it's U8. So So I'm gonna search for that. Yeah, but then I wonder if it's gonna be the AS or UTF-8 or ASCII. SI is, I don't know how to say it, equivalent of the string, instead of being the actual value that is the string represents. But maybe it's the same thing. And we'll close all of this stuff. So as bytes is an option. I wonder if I can do it in the same line as well. Yeah, once I have the round and the action, then I can create the player. And the player is gonna be oh, actually, let me think about it. Yeah, I think the action and streets I'm gonna recreate each time. Yeah, maybe not actually. So the street I should probably be initializing outside of the loops, and I should probably create the same, do the same way that I did this here, so that now let me think. Oh, and the actions are gonna be a vector. So I'm gonna append That's another thing that I have to see. I'm gonna initialize. I think I have to initialize first and then append. Should append the value to the actions of the player. Oh, that's another check that I have to put on each one as well. To see if the player is me or not. There's also the problem that this only converts to unsigned 8. And it's gonna be a list, I think, or a vector. So it becomes problematic if the number is bigger, because I have to find a way to add it in the correct way. It's both float and integer that I need. It's chips are gonna be a float. Maybe it's better to convert everything to floats just because it's easier. So parse factoration. No, so just parse and wrap. Parse and wrap.
Blame me, blame me, blame me, blame me. You niggas know my pyroclastic flow. You niggas know my pyroclastic flow, flow, flow. You niggas know my pyroclastic flow. It's R-A-W, R-A-W.
There's no.
You're looking at the Grand Wizard, Warlord, vocal cords so vicious. And I don't have to show riches to pull
Oh no,
up,
yeah, I just realized that.
and it ain't about
I'm
chivalry, it's about
making it be.
delivery. It's
But I guess it's fine for this to be unsigned integer.
do what he wanna. Ain't nothing like a man that you knew on the corner. Seen come up and fuck up the owner. Seen throw up West Side California. Nigga, I'm hot as Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Utah. I got multiple bitches. It's a new law. Keep a hold of your riches. Dumb nigga don't spin it as soon as you get it. And
And this should be F32.
got to keep it in my tempo. Write it up. Don't stop. You know your body is a tempo. Light it up.
It's probably gonna be something similar.
You got to do it in my tempo. Write it up. Don't stop. You know your body is a tempo.
Crush it, roll it, light it, smoke it, pass it, puff it, hit it, hold it, push it, break it down for me, coming.
Okay, so there is no float lower than 32.
Pass it, puff it, hit it, hold it, push it, break it down for me, coming. Smoke a pound with me.
And so I can specify a parse and then
한 대 피고
Alright, 32. Hopefully this works.
잊어버리자. 같이 놀자.
Oh, okay. So I can pass either way. So I guess this is unnecessary. I'm gonna try like this first because it looks better. It's easier to make sense of. And then I need to create a player. Just trying to think if I forgot anything. I'm probably gonna stop soon because I'm getting tired. Player 1. Oh, actually I should have used player chips there instead of V. And I realized that I'm making as it should be F32 instead of a string. Oh, actually, let me think about it. Because the player chips are not the same. And maybe if this is incorrect. The player chips are for the beginning, I think. But now I don't remember anymore. Yeah, the chips are the stack sizes in the beginning. But I think I'm gonna erase this because maybe not actually. Maybe it's better to have it. So I have to figure out a way to do that. No, I need to create another field then for player inside of here. Because I think I confused the value of the action with the chips. Let me put chips here. So this is, I'm gonna do, let me see. I need to make this equal to things when I'm creating the players here. And chips. Yeah, but that's the thing. I need to create a match statement, I think. pass the line and chips. Let me think. I need to figure out a way to know which one is it. But then that's the problem. It's a problem because I can't use these values here inside of this thing. Unless I split the value at the outside here and catch the first one, but I don't want to do that. I'm trying to think if there's a better way. And maybe I would just... But the thing is, it would be good if I had the chips, because then the simulations are gonna be more accurate for the stack size that they actually have. But then if I do it like this, it's probably better to initialize the players on this line here instead of the actions. But then I need the position. Maybe I can initialize the structs before and then initialize as a null value or something like that, and then update on the other lines. Maybe that's possible. It would make everything easier. Oh, instead, yeah, what am I thinking? Instead of putting name equal to a boolean, I can actually make the player name. I'm gonna scratch this here. Yeah, that's much better. So I actually don't need to mix things easier. But I just pass the name there, and then... but that's the problem, because then I can't match. Oh, actually I can use contains, and then I just use player 6, player P1, P2, etc. Because this other number here is irrelevant. Let me think. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So initialize the players here with the chips and the name. And then I update the actions. I create an empty vector for the actions initially. Yeah, that's much better actually, I think. Empty vector. What else do I need? Oh, the cards. Round 0. So the cards only show up on the round 1. Yeah, I think I'll have to initialize before anyway because of this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna initialize the players here with the name and the chips, and then here I will update I'll only update the sum for the actions and the position. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna stop here because I'm already tired of thinking about this, and I'm probably gonna continue to do this off stream. I might stream soon because I'm gonna put the extra memory, and then run the node. But it's gonna depend on how long it's gonna take me to do the stuff that I wanna do on the other projects that I'm doing off stream. and then I might continue to do this today off stream as well. But I wanna take a break and then eat things, and yeah. So I might take a long time to stream again, but next time I'm probably gonna continue this Proco project here.